the media the bloodsuckers. Because and not all of them, they,
a whole lot of them. I'll say a whole lot of them.
Watch it.
There's very few media outlets that will tell the truth over the better story. And, that's why I appreciate a lot of these ex-NBA players and things like that is joining the media because they're not going to treat us like cattle because they understand that we have children and we have families and things of that nature. And it's a little bit too late once you put a false story or a story you didn't do your research on a quote unquote celebrity. I don't call myself a celebrity because we all gonna get hit with the same embalming fluid. So I like to think of myself as like God told me, I'm just a man and we all are nothing. So I respect media that respect people as men, because when you don't do that, that's what got these little Stephen A. minions around here that's disrespecting grown men. And so with me, you got to be respectful. You come up to me, if you're respectful, then you're going to get a respectful response. But if you don't lead with respect, then I don't lead with respect.
Well, it's funny.
I'm going to be honest with you. Hold up. I'm going to be honest with you, though. So, I was with Kwame in D.C., and that was kind of the birth of me feeling the way that I feel about the media.
Yeah.
Because I saw them, and I would talk to Kwame about it, and I'd be like, I saw them literally make stuff up that wasn't true.
They have to do
and
that.
write about it. Like so me, Alice, we've talked about that before, and I know you defending your media, but I literally saw. I'm like, nothing that they just reported is true. I'm sitting there, I can verify because I was there. Nothing is true. And with MJ, you talk about somebody being in a microscope. Like MJ, when he came out of retirement, it was like every game was on. Like for the Wizards before that, the Wizards won like 14 games.
Right.
Terrible. You know what I mean? So MJ came out of retirement. Every single game was a national TV game. Every single game sold out. We had a crowd outside of the Verizon Center.
Time to get
you know what I mean? Like it was crazy. So the amount of attention and everything like that was through the roof. And so you put all of that, and then you pair someone straight out of high school, 19 years old, and you say, okay, your job is to make sure that MJ doesn't look bad. And if MJ has a bad game, the media writes it up in this way. And you're sitting, I'm sitting there seeing.
No, they'll put me in for 3 minutes and make sure I get a turnover and take me out.
And it'll be all Kwame's fault. Listen, I was literally there because I wasn't playing, so I had a good seat. I was watching.
Yeah, I wasn't playing either.
I was like, dang, this is messed up. So
I agree. Kwame, when you and I met, I think it was 3 years ago, we did an article and I interviewed you, and I was blown away because we were talking about a lot of these stories that are out there. And there was like the rumor that, you and MJ had different altercations in practices. And then you were there's a story about like, Kwame's relatives put cigarettes out in his arms. And like, we were going through these stories. You're like, yeah, none of them are true. You're like, the internet doesn't even have my middle name correct. And I was blown away.
They call me Kwame James Brown.
Yeah.
My name is Kwame Hassani Kamau Brown.
Yeah, you're like, they don't even have my name right. Like, so I get the frustration. Like, if that were me, I'd be so upset too. Where it's like all these stories that people mention your name, they think of all these stories and they didn't happen, and then all the information about you is false. So yeah, I totally understand that frustration. I think it makes a lot of sense.
To me, not to cut you off, I don't get frustrated. You got to understand, I came in an era where it wasn't popular for kids to come out of high school, and they needed a reason to make sure that's true. Even though some of your best talent in the NBA right now are from high school, LeBron James and Kevin Durant. So with me, they made me their poster boy on why you shouldn't come out of high school. And they did it with not playing minutes and all these things. If you notice, when I was in Charlotte, the first time I played 30 minutes a game, I averaged a double-double in 2 quarters. Stephen A. Smith went away. Everybody went away. Nobody talked about him. So, I understand what it is, but the thing that people don't understand, what happens when that pressure don't bust that pipe. You get what you see now.
And that's one of the things that I really respected about Kwame is like through all of that, because, the pressure was all on him. It wasn't on me. Well, nobody cared about what I did. I was just in the background, but I was watching everything. And he stayed strong through all of that stuff. And I would tell him, I'd be like, man, this is messed up, man. Like literally, like anything you do, it's like your fault. And it's it's a testament to his character, but I don't think that was fair to put on a 19-year-old kid. But the way that I even had issues where I had to approach some of the media members who wrote for the Washington Post, who wrote for the Washington Times, and I would be like, y'all are messed up. Like, what y'all are doing is messed up. And I literally told them that. You know what I mean? I was like, because y'all are creating things that are not true to demonize this kid, and it's just to get y'all more, it wasn't clicks back then because we didn't have social media, but it was more reads, more attention and everything like that. And they got the attention. And I was like, the media, y'all have a responsibility to tell the truth. Right. And if you're just creating a good story that's just a lie, you know what I mean? Then right. I look at you all, I can't even respect you as a member of the media because I see you're like TMZ in it. And that's
right. And that's what kind of kills the vibe for us because, you put it in my shoes, I'm not trying to get any sort of story out of anything. I'm trying to actually tell what's going on. I'm trying to build relationships. There's literally no benefit to doing something that's going to hurt your relationships and hurt your, camaraderie with the person and with the league that you're trying to cover. So I never got that whole, making stuff up to try and make a name for yourself thing, because you got to do it from the ground up if you're us. And I think this is a really good transition, actually, Alex, to what Draymond was talking about. Yeah. In the media a couple days ago.
Well, and I'll say this too. Like, I've definitely seen it though too, where I'm at the press conference and you see the article come out the next day and the quotes are totally taken out of context. And I was like, I was there for that. I know the tone and the context, and that's not what the guy was saying. But yeah, I do think that, those journalists frustrate us as well, because it definitely paints all of us in a bad light. And it makes you wonder, like, okay, now we all look like we're the bloodsuckers, as Kwame said, and, trying to take those shots at players. And I think it's just not a very good way of doing things, but it is frustrating for everyone involved. But yeah, Draymond Green.
It also, not to cut you off, it also says a lot about people. The evolution of people. Back where I'm from, you walk up to somebody, you shake their hand, and you don't cast no judgment until you had a conversation with another man. Right. So you got an article that Sally Jenkins wrote. This woman never met me, don't know me from a can of paint, and she portrayed me as somebody who can't read, can't write, can't talk. When you're I graduated from Glenn Academy High School. You can look it up. It's public records. Anything I had is public record. So it just shows a lot about people and how we are now, that we look at people from whatever somebody tells us. That's just crazy to me.